Hi, Leo. It's Angela. We're going to do your soul guidance reading for November for Leo, Sun, Moon, and Rising. And any other souls that feel compelled to come and watch this video, the message is probably for you as well. We're all about internal energies, what's going on intuitively, and what we can sometimes, let rise to the surface so we could shine a light on it and transform that aspect of ourselves. Whatever, the oracle card that we pull gives us kind of that idea of how to do that. And then the Zen Tarot cards give us a little more detail as to how to achieve the transformation. I have a few housekeeping things. The first thing is I added a playlist to my channel. It's called Weekly Intention Readings. And this is, these are videos that in collaboration with Maria Mellano of Integral Bloom. And we do these every Monday. We have an intention setting group meeting that we come together. It's actually a free group if you guys want to join. The link's going to be in this video, so you can just click right through, sign up for her email, and join the group. It's called Pause at the Well. We meet every Monday. And these videos are kind of the recap of, the readings that are being done live during the session, but we record them after. And so we get to share that energy and that guidance a little further than just with the little group. So I've created a playlist on my channel there that has all those videos. I think we've been doing this for a couple of years, but I started posting them, saving them as of, I think, October, just the last handful but they'll be continuous. So check it out. And then also with Maria, we're going to co-host a vision course called Bloom Your Vision. It's going to start in January, and it goes for 7 sessions. All the details are in the link in this video. So check it out. It's a great course. It's there's a soul level, sort of a soul exploration practice that we do as well before we meet at the final week on the 7th week to create our vision boards. So yeah, check that out. It's going to be a great course. We're really looking forward to that. As the year turns, we could start to manifest the things that we want to come about for 2023. And then the last item is join my newsletter if you can. Go to my website, groundeddreamers.com. Get on that newsletter. I don't really send a lot out unless there's an event and stuff at the time, but I will begin to send updates. We're working on a few things behind the scenes to build out my main site, so it's going to be fun. And so if you're on that list, you get to be kind of among the first to experience what we're going to be offering. And that's it for the business. Now let's move on to your reading, Leo. So the oracle deck that we're using is this one, Messages from the Mermaids. And the card I got for you, I like this one because I'm a Leo, as I say every single time. I like this one. Move forward. This is really good advice, especially now. We just had the eclipse, the tumultuous, all the feelings that may have come up through that. And I'm not sure if everyone's been experiencing it, but there is a potential for some high drama during this eclipse week. But the effects of the eclipse can last, for months following. And, with this stuff kind of being stirred up, it's being stirred up to clear it out, right? It's mainly, so the full moon's in Taurus and the sun's in Scorpio. So it has to do with your depth, your deeper feelings, the stuff that's been in there. And it may all start rising to the surface and bubbling up, but it's for your good because we're going to clear some stuff out and set the path forward. And so getting this card, Move Forward, it probably couldn't be more timely. So let's see now what the Zen cards say for the topic of moving forward. You alone kind of know, as far as if you're following your alignment and you're in your alignment and following your intuition, you always know when's the appropriate time to take the next step. And so I'm interested to see what these cards say, because moving forward doesn't mean plunging forward, barreling forward all the time. It just means take a step toward that thing that you want to achieve, or take another step, right? But do something instead of the inaction, or the plotting phases are all over and the planning phases are all over. And now it's time to put this into action. And, I'm going to hope that the guidance doesn't say, mow forward and mow everybody down, but let's just see. Okay. Well, your first card here, Leo, is change. So yeah, change is in the air. We just came through this eclipse yesterday, and the vibrations are high for shifting. Change is constant, as we know, but the guidance in this card is really kind of asking you to pay attention to where you are in relationship to the change. Okay, so you have this wheel that's spinning constantly around and around. Are you gripping on one of these outside edges? Are you like clinging to only one way and resisting that change? Because if you do, you're going to go flying off that wheel, right? Because the change will occur. And I'm not saying, specific change about a specific situation, but change is constant, every day to night, sunset, sunrise. The moods that we're in shift and move and change. And we if we're, like in this card, if we're resting in the center of that wheel, like right there where the yin yang symbol is, if you're resting in the center and all that change is going on around you, it's not as dizzying, right? It doesn't throw you off. It's not as difficult. If you can, be in full acceptance of the fact that change is constant, it's always happening, and then be able to go within and find your inner alignment in the midst of that becomes, there's a more, it's just an easier path through anything that comes your way. If you're aligned and centered and in tune with your inner being, that stuff that comes and tries to throw us off, or the natural shift and flow of the universe, doesn't feel as tumultuous. So I like that that's the starting point, because the move forward is kind of indicating if there's something you've been wanting to achieve, or wanting to, a change that you've been wanting to make, now's the time. The combination of these two cards makes it clear. It's time, especially also given that eclipse. It's like, okay, how many more signals do I want? It's time to take action, one pace at a time. Okay, let's see what happens next. So the starting point is change. So it's beautiful. We talked about that. Internally within you, look at this, the realization that you are the creator of your entire experience, right? You are the creator. And that is an inner knowing that you have that helps you navigate that change and helps you know when to take the next proper step, what direction to move in, how quickly to move in, right? This is the whole, root of this whole process, is that you are creating it. Now, I know there have been people, and I've said this a couple of times before, and I know there are people that go, how can I create my own experience? Like, what are you talking about? I didn't, I don't know. I didn't, I use car accident as an analogy a lot, but I didn't cause that car accident. That car accident happened and I didn't create that, right? But what this really means is what you create is the quality of your experience. You don't create the random things that happen in the universe, because that is constant, right? That's where that change comes. Things will get thrown in your path, quicker than you can blink. And now all of a sudden you're having to adapt. And that's what life does, right? It throws things our way. But in this vibration of being the creator of your experience, you take those things that are thrown at you and you find a way to manage them. You either, take one ball of fire and toss it aside, or take one and hold on to it and, take a deep breath and pause, or you have the control over the quality of your experience. And that comes from how you respond to life, how you show up. That's what you're creating. You're creating that that ease, usually, that, you know, or that's usually what we all want to have. You're creating that ease that can come from adapting to the change when it comes. So this is what that creator card really is pointing to. Instead of, you know, I didn't create my boyfriend breaking up with me. Well, that happened. But now what are you going to create in the heels of that, right? What are you going to, how are you going to respond to that? Are you going to go and, you know, grab onto his ankles and make him take you back? Or are you going to say, oh, this is, the universe brought this on, that they brought this breakup on. So let me see how I can adapt to that. Let me see what's left here in the aftermath of that. So that's what that creator card really points to. And I know you guys are all masters at this, so it's a good thing. It's easy to give the guidance when it's being received so well. Okay, now in your external world, the combination of this acknowledging change and being in the center, you know, resting in your center as the change occurs, you know, kind of gauging when to take that next step forward, and also knowing that you're creating the quality of your experience in all of that. The combination of that results in your outer world, in your external world, it results in transformation. So you go from the acknowledgement of change to, you know, owning your response to all the things that get thrown your way, and that transforms your life. Just that shift in attitude, right? It transforms, you know, externally in your day-to-day world. It could shift your relationships. It could change your you know, your stress levels, the big one. It could change, if this is something like this move forward card for you is, for me, it's a project, right? It's Grounded Dreamers, building and growing, and how to mesh that with my day work, which, you know, I've got to keep it all going. So that's the big thing for me that I want to move forward with. But I'm not going to plunge ahead and ignore everything else that I've built in my life, right? So it's got to get itself woven into my life. So I'm cautious about how far to step forward and how often, and you know, that. But that, just that knowing that I get to control my experience in it all, it has transformed. It's really shifted the way I see, you know, my work ethic. I have a strong work ethic, and sometimes it's too strong and it ends up depleting all my energy. So it's really helped me to learn some balance by just having this little bit of a juggle going on. So really making that shift and acknowledging you get to control how you show up. That's just a big one. I love it. Okay, Leo, let's see what's next. So now we get to this card here. This is going to be your key to elevation. So if this spread is actually called the tree, and we have the first set of branches was our starting point. Then we move down to the trunk, where in a tree in real life, you know, those roots, those strong, you know, deeper roots help to promote growth on the surface. So this is the key to getting yourself to an elevated level of awareness. And that card is intensity. Ooh, yeah. Move forward with intensity. And I'm going to say, not intensity of your energy as much as your focus, intense focus on what's coming next, and making sure that our inner alignment is, you know, locked in, because then we move forward. It's almost like trying to step forward, you know, without keeping your feet under you, right? Like, you know, like that, or moving the upper part of your body first, and then you end up slipping, right? It's moving forward in alignment and keeping those feet right under you with every step. And that's where that intensity comes in, because you're focused on maintaining the alignment. And then what is my next step? I will move in that direction. And what is my next step? I move in that direction. That's the that's what came through for me for the intensity card. Okay, so that's good. This is, making sure our focus is sharp. Now we get to move to this next level of awareness up here, and you land on the source. Look at that. That's a lot of the same vibration as the creator, but this is just making sure you're in touch with that core of who you are, the root of who you are, and then that part of you that connects to the divine as well. So this is kind of like, your inner being's headquarters, right? That's kind of what that vibe is. I love the circular, all this energy, all this light energy and rainbow energy and, continuous circular shapes. This is like really, this is a real, determined and exact focus on your inner being to gather your energies and make sure you're, over your feet, like we said, so that when you move forward, there's no stumbles, right? This is all like getting it all worked, getting all the in-house stuff lined up. Within you now, you're in touch with your source, you're in touch with what motivates you and what, the support that you have from the divine. Ooh, and internally we got exhaustion. So this, I like this. This doesn't mean you're going to burn out, but and see how it's over the creator. You remember, you may need to sometimes revert back to this concept. If you get yourself too far out ahead of yourself moving in your movement forward, then that could burn you out within, right? And I just want to say too, some of you may not have something that you want to move forward toward, right? But this could be something more, just more internal, like an aspect of you that you want to develop. Or, let's say you're a procrastinator and you want to be better at making plans and sticking to them, right? Then you can move forward with that plan as you see fit. This doesn't all have to be something external, or, it could be a new level in a relationship that you want to move forward toward, in your education or career or anything like that. It's up to you what that is. When I'm reading this, I'm, of course, putting my own personal spin on it, because I'm thinking of this, what I want to achieve. And that exhaustion that's a real thing like that. And this is an internal exhaustion. So it's not like you're physically tired. It's more like my resources are depleted. So if we've gone through, the whole spread with our alignment, realizing we're creating it, seeing the transformation in our life, keeping that determined focus as we move forward step by step, staying aligned with our source, sometimes we lose track of that. And maybe we overexert or over commit, or move forward too quickly, and we get depleted. So this is just a reminder to pause and fill your tank every now and then, and that gets you back to this sort of empowered state of the creator. That's because both of these cards are within you, so it could go back and forth between these two energies. And just know that's okay. That's part of the human experience, is that sometimes we bite off more than we can chew, or sometimes we get a little too enthusiastic and then we're kind of wiped out within. And that just means come back to your source, come back to your center, and proceed. Then the final card here, and this is in the external position as well, is consciousness. So I like this because your higher self, is just as, or, provides just as much or more guidance than your persona, than your mind and your thought processes and the plans you make. Your higher self is kind of like the master guide that's guiding you through, right? And because it came right next to that source card, I like that combination there, because when you're aligned And when you're in touch with what the divine is offering you and moving accordingly, right? Moving forward accordingly with that energy that is there, you know, that's the recipe for the most successful, you know, the most successful outcomes. Sorry, I'm going to shuffle more cards and I got distracted. So that's your, you know, that, oh, what was I saying? I forgot. Oh yeah, your higher self. My higher self just reminded me. But yeah, it's important. It's important to, you know, go ahead and let your human being set the plans and get things locked down and make sure you have kind of an assessment of where you want to head next, you know, where you want to move forward to. But then you kind of, there's a letting go and a sort of a breathing it out and letting your intuition, your higher consciousness, the divine, your inner being, let that all work as well, because that's where a lot of your success and your satisfaction will come from, is by following your true north, you know, your true inner guide. Okay, I'm going to pull a card now from this deck, a little bonus called the Sacred Creators Oracle. And just to see what little extra message we can get from the universe. And I have for you balance. Look at that. So that is what we were just kind of talking about with this, the bounce between, look at this light, how it's like, there's a lot of really weird light in here right now. The bounce between the, you know, the center of your being and kind of losing touch with how much energy is being expended and then getting exhausted and then having to come back to center again, right? That's that balance in action. That's what is being called for there. So I love that. It's, you know, move forward in balance. In balance. That light is making me crazy right now. It's kind of really distracting me. Okay, you guys, that was it for now. Thank you so much for being here in my channel, and I will see you very soon.